I realized early on that the media, when there's victims of violence, that the media talks to the family members of those who've lost their lives. And uh, it's an emotional time. And sometimes those articles that are printed reflect negatively toward law enforcement because in some cases, unfortunately, we haven't solved the crime. So I had a meeting, and in this meeting, I invited family members and loved ones who lost someone to violence in the city, and I tell you, it didn't quite go how I thought it would go. And they were upset, they were angry, they were hurt. A lot of their frustrations were pointed at the police department because we had not solved the crime and arrested the person who committed that crime against their loved one. So I listened to them, and I let each family member speak, and I asked about their loved one. And then when we finished, I just asked for their help. I said, help me, help us identify that person who committed that crime. Because I assure you, if our police officers had that information, they would do everything in their power to put that bad guy away. And we developed this relationship. And I asked them for their help, and they began to energize. And I tell you, that session, that listening session, where I listened to them, almost turned into therapy where they began to converse with each other. They were praying over each other. It was just something that I just can't explain. God had us there at that time, in that moment. And I began to see healing where they were talking to each other. And what came from that is they started their own nonprofit organization called C.H.A.N.G.E. And now they're doing community canvassing. Now they're trying to identify solutions, telling the public that they need to do their part in helping law enforcement solve these crimes. So those same ladies who were at that meeting, who were blaming law enforcement, are now standing side by side with us at press conferences. They're highlighted it in our annual report. And they're telling the public that you too have a responsibility to come forward when you have information about violence in our city.